Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty big in the AI assistant world, Anthropic's Claude. They've just rolled out a new research mode and really deep integration with Google Workspace.
Yeah, this isn't just a minor tweak, is it? It feels like it could genuinely shift how these assistants compete and, how we actually use them day to day.
Absolutely. It seems like they're moving Claude from just answering questions to being more of a proactive partner.
Exactly. It's about investigating, synthesizing info independently. That's the real game changer here, I think.
Okay, so let's break it down. This research mode, what's the core difference compared to, say, just asking an AI to search something?
Well, think of it less like a single search query and more like an automated researcher. Claude can now run multiple searches, one building on the next.
Okay.
It looks across the web in your connected Google stuff, docs, emails, whatever. And it's not just grabbing links, it's deciding what to look for next, sort of exploring different angles on its own.
And it gives citations. That seems crucial.
Definitely. You see where the info came from, you can check it. It adds a layer of trust.
Right. And the Google Workspace side of things, how does that play into it all?
That's where it gets really integrated into your workflow. Secure connection to your Gmail, calendar, Google Docs.
So no more copy-pasting context or uploading documents?
Pretty much you can just access the relevant email thread or find that doc in Drive or see what's on your calendar. It understands the context within your workspace.
Okay.
And again, inline citations, it'll show you, okay, I got this point from this specific email or that document.
So for this deep dive, what are we trying to really nail down for our listeners?
Good question. I think our main goal is to figure out, how exactly these features give Claude an edge, especially against the big players like ChatGPT.
Right.
We want to show some real-world examples. How could you, the listener, actually use this stuff? And then tackle that big question. Is Claude now kind of the smartest kid on the block?
Yeah, trying to cut through the hype and see what it means practically.
Exactly. Give people the info they need to see if this changes things for their work.
Because managing information overload is, well, it's a constant battle, isn't it? These tools could genuinely help if they work as advertised.
For sure.
So let's dig into that Google Workspace integration more. What specific workflow changes are we talking about?
Well, one source mentioned no more manual digging. Think about hunting for an old email.
Yeah, the worst.
Or finding that one specific file in Google Drive. Claude can potentially do that hunt for you. Ask it for, say, the Q3 budget draft, and it should be able to pull it from Drive.
Okay, that alone sounds pretty appealing.
It really does. Or finding action items for meeting notes or follow-up emails. Claude could theoretically scan those and just list them out.
So reclaiming time spent on just finding stuff.
Precisely, and it goes beyond just retrieval. The second big thing is supercharged meeting prep and follow-up.
How so?
Imagine asking Claude to summarize the notes from your last meeting with client X. Then find any related action items from emails sent afterwards.
Okay.
And maybe pull up relevant documents you need to review before your next meeting with them.
Wow, okay. That's like having a personal assistant doing your pre-briefing.
That's the idea. Making sure you're prepped without you having to manually piece it all together.
Who gets this integration? Is it standard?
It's in beta right now for the paid plans Pro, Max, Team, and Enterprise.
Gotcha.
For Team and Enterprise, though, an admin has to switch it on for the organization. Makes sense. Controlling data access.
Right, security first. Anything else on the workspace side? There was something about cataloging.
Yeah, that's for the enterprise users.
Yeah.
It's an optional feature, but it sounds powerful. It basically creates this smart index of your organization's Google Docs.
An index?
Yeah. So Claude can find information within those docs much more effectively, even if you don't know exactly which doc it's in. Makes all that internal knowledge way more searchable.
Okay, that's a serious perk for big companies. Let's switch gears to a research mode then. How does it actually do the research? You said multiple searches.
Yeah, the key is that they're connected searches. It's not just firing off one query. It runs a search, looks at the results, and then uses that to figure out the next search.
So it's iterative. It learns as it goes.
It's a good way to put it. Anthropic calls it operating agentically. It decides what to investigate next, explores different angles, works through questions kind of systematically.
Agentically? Sounds fancy.
It just means it has a bit more autonomy in the process rather than just fetching results for one specific prompt. And it does this across the web and your connected Google stuff.
And then pulls it all together with citations.
Exactly. That synthesis part is crucial. It's not just a list of links.
Can you give us some concrete examples? How would someone actually use research mode?
Sure. Think about competitive intelligence. Instead of you spending hours Googling competitors, reading reports,
Right.
you could ask Claude to research competitor A's recent product launches or marketing strategies. It could go out, gather info, maybe even cross-reference it with internal notes if you have relevant docs connected, and give you a summary.
That would save a ton of time.
Absolutely. Or analyzing market trends, or even digging into technical problems. It could search documentation, forums, and your internal technical docs simultaneously.
Okay, I can see the power there, especially combining external and internal info.
Yeah, and for cross-team work too. Like a marketing team planning a launch could get competitor info from the web and internal product specs from docs. Or sales prepping for a call, get recent client news, plus summaries of past emails and meeting notes from your workspace. It connects the dots.
Who gets research mode now? Is it the same group as the workspace integration?
It's a bit more limited currently. Early beta for Macs, Team, and Enterprise users, and only in the US, Japan, and Brazil for now.
Okay, so still rolling out.
Yeah, but Anthropic apparently plans to add more sources. It can search and make the research deeper over time, so likely expanding.
Makes sense. All right, this is the really interesting part for me. How does this stack up against the competition? We're talking ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot.
Yeah, the landscape is crowded, isn't it? This move definitely feels like Claude trying to carve out a stronger position.
Especially against ChatGPT, which is kind of the benchmark for many people.
Right. And interestingly, OpenAI did launch a deep research feature for ChatGPT a couple of months before Claude's announcement.
Ah, so Claude isn't the absolute first with this kind of idea.
Not entirely first with deep research, no, but the approach might be different. One article, ZDNet, I think, suggested Claude's research mode might be like a lighter version of ChatGPT's.
Lighter how? Faster, but maybe less in depth.
That seems to be the implication. Anthropic themselves are quoted emphasizing the balance of speed and quality, getting high-quality, comprehensive answers in minutes for typical workday research tasks.
So maybe aiming for practicality over, like, PhD-level depth for most queries.
That could be it. Speed and relevance for everyday work might be their focus with this iteration.
And what about that compass thing mentioned somewhere? Is that related?
Yeah, Bleeping Computer reported that Anthropic was testing something called Compass internally. It sounded very similar to ChatGPT's deep research. An agent doing web searches, scraping sites, writing detailed reports.
So research mode might be step one towards that bigger vision.
Possibly. It suggests they are aiming for those deeper capabilities long term, but research mode is what's available now, focusing perhaps on that speed-quality balance.
Okay, so comparing them, ChatGPT might have a more established deep research function, but Claude's edge could be that tight Google Workspace integration combined with this fast research capability.
I think that's a really good way to frame it.
Yeah.
That direct line into your work context, your emails, docs, calendar, is something ChatGPT doesn't have in the same way.
Right. Less setup, less explaining the context over and over.
Exactly. It can just know what project you're talking about based on recent emails or docs. That context awareness could be a huge usability win for people living in the Google Workspace.
Okay, brings us to the million-dollar question then, with all this. Is Claude now the smartest AI out there?
The smartest question. It's always tough, isn't it? And so subjective.
True, but based on these features.
You can definitely build a strong case for Claude having a significant edge, especially for professional users. That seamless Google Workspace link is massive. The proactive research with citations, that adds a layer of reliability. The focus on speed for practical tasks is appealing. And yeah, that potential for better context understanding is key.
But what are the arguments against crowning it just yet?
Well, like we said, ChatGPT already has its deep research feature, maybe goes deeper right now.
Yep.
And ZDNet did call Claude's version potentially lighter, trading depth for speed. Plus, the availability is still limited, certain tiers, certain regions. That holds it back from being universally the best for everyone right now.
So it's not a clear knockout, maybe, more like a very strong contender, especially for a certain type of user?
I think that's fair. It's probably less about declaring one universal winner and more about seeing who benefits most. And for anyone heavily using Google Workspace, needing fast, context-aware research, Claude is making a very compelling argument.
It could become their indispensable AI assistant.
It really could.
Okay, one last quick thing before we wrap. Privacy. We're talking about giving an AI access to potentially sensitive work, emails, documents. Any reassurances there?
Yeah, important point.
Yeah.
Based on discussions and Anthropic's own statements, the default for paid users Pro, and presumably the others, is that your prompts and conversations are not used to train their main models.
By default.
Okay, right. The exceptions are if you explicitly give feedback, like thumbs up, down, or submit something for support. And also, if stuff gets flagged for trust and safety reviews, then it might be used to improve their safety systems. But general conversations for paying users, supposedly not used for training by default.
Still, something people should be aware of and check the latest policy on, especially with work data.
Absolutely. Always good practice.
All right, let's pull this all together. What are the main things our listeners should take away from this deep dive on Claude's updates?
I think the big picture is that Claude is seriously stepping up its game. The research mode and Google Workspace integration aren't just small features. They aim to fundamentally change how you use an AI assistant for work.
Making it more proactive, more integrated.
Exactly. It's about saving you time, hunting for information, giving you deeper insights faster, and understanding your context better so you don't have to constantly repeat yourself. More partner, less tool.
So the potential payoff is significant productivity gains and maybe just less friction in getting information.
That's the promise. Moving beyond just Q&A to having an assistant that can genuinely help with research analysis and staying organized within the tools you already use.
A powerful combination. So the final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah, really think about your own workflow.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend digging through emails or docs? How often do you need to quickly research a competitor or a topic? Could having an AI do that heavy lifting right within your Google environment actually change how you work? If you have access to the beta, maybe now's the time to experiment.
See if it lives up to the hype for your specific needs. Compare it to what you're using now.
Definitely. And this space changes so fast, we'll keep tracking it.
Absolutely. Keep questioning, keep exploring. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.